everyone, and welcome to the Doc Huddle, your gateway to an in-depth connection between sports medicine and the latest events in sports, fantasy, and betting. Today's show is brought to you by the Health and Wellness Depot. Unlock the power of well-being. I'm Dr. Mikey B. With me, as always, CJ, the sports enthusiast, and MJB, the legend. Gentlemen, very exciting show. Another episode of our fantasy football series. Today, we will be reviewing fantasy football wide receiver rankings.
Awesome. Yeah, this is usually one of our favorite, if not our favorite positions to go over. And, the lists always get crazy when it comes to the wideouts.
Mm-hmm. And as a people's champ, I'm here to set everything straight.
Oh. Well, we'll see.
I don't even have a comeback. Yeah, I don't even have a comeback. Sometimes we just, sometimes we just have to just let, people that fantasize in their own world. But we're bringing you back to reality right here, right now. So without further ado, we're going to let the self-proclaimed people's champion, start us off with his wide receiver rankings.
Just real quick, I don't know if you remember where that came from. It was Freddie Mitchell when he played for the Eagles, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm the people's champ." But yeah, just funny. But okay.
Now,
you can go ahead and go ahead, Mike.
No, I was gonna say. In fact, I'm actually gonna pivot because it seems we're having a little bit of trouble with uploading your ranking list at the moment. So we're gonna have CJ start us off while we get your list up and running. So CJ, let us see your fantasy football wide receiver rankings.
All right, so wideouts, a lot to cover under wideouts. I thought we were capped at 20, so I kept it down to 20, but I do have a sleeper I'd like to go over with you guys and hear your sleeper at the end. But to start it off, I think the number one, Ja'Marr Chase, has been super productive year after year, especially with Joey B being healthy. That whole offense is booming, yeah. So I think that Ja'Marr Chase is pretty easy number one. I think the top few, though, it wouldn't be like outrageous to go with, say, JJ, or even if you wanted CD, maybe. I don't know, maybe just Justin Jefferson, actually. But I think that I'm leaving Justin Jefferson up here at 2. I think he had, going to last season, we had a few questions with Justin Jefferson because with Sam Darnold, we weren't sure about his production. Well, he still blew it out of the water. Super productive. So I'm pretty excited to see what Justin Jefferson brings to the table with J.J. McCarthy being the starting quarterback with the Minnesota Vikings. But I'm keeping him in my top 3. I think he's going to be very productive throughout the season, which brings me down to CeeDee Lamb. And I'm actually very interested to hear what you guys think about CeeDee Lamb. The Dallas Cowboys picked up George Pickens over the offseason. Do you think that will – and I'm not saying CeeDee Lamb's out of tier 1, but do you think that will impact CeeDee Lamb's production at all going into this season?
I mean, so you're basically asking, do we think that his production is going to be what we think it's going to be as a top 3 elite wide receiver? Is that basically what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to throw it out there right now. I would not be surprised in my list for Malik Nabers to be just as productive, if not have an even more productive year than CeeDee Lamb. I think they're both in the same tier going into next season.
I think Malik Nabers, from a fantasy perspective, is going to have a more productive year than CeeDee Lamb, as you'll see when we get to my rankings. But yeah, I think that I think CeeDee Lamb, we were expecting him to have such an amazing year last year. It didn't even come close to what the projections were. He was the top guy picked in many people's drafts. I will say this: I think he's still a top 5 fantasy wide receiver. So, and there's no reason why he should fall beyond that. So, do I think he could produce at the top 3 level? Absolutely. I think he's going to be reliant on Dak. I don't think that he's going to lose targets because of George Pickens. I think that it's going to help him because George Pickens is going to allow for the Cowboys to spread the field, right? He gives them that vertical threat, and that's going to help with CD underneath, and he is phenomenal with Yak. right? Get him the ball, let him do his thing, hit him in stride. I think he's going to do quite well. So, yeah, I think he can be top 3. Do I have him in top 3 in my list? No, but he's definitely my top 5. And if he becomes top 3, good for him. It should happen. I mean, it could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And then, moving on to my list, I think Malik Neighbors is going to have a great year. He's got a veteran quarterback in Russell Wilson. He put up good numbers last year, or I should say great numbers last year. And I think his production only increases. I don't imagine any slowing down from that. He's a clear star for fantasy and for the Giants overall. But moving on to that, we got Puka now taking over the number 1 spot. Well, not taking over, but Cooper Kupp is no longer with the Rams. They're going to have Puka and Devontae Adams. I still think Puka is going to be top 5 in production. I think he's going to be great with Matthew Stafford, so that's why I had him at 5. Amon-Ra St. Brown, same thing. I think he's also going to have a very big productive year, continuing off of last year. I don't think he's going to have a slip in fantasy. And we could bounce around. I don't have to go through every single name here, but I do want to mention Tyreek Hill. I think that Tyreek Hill being at 7 is with Tua being healthy. Obviously, that is the risk. With Tua going down, Tyreek Hill's fantasy production slumped tremendously last year. And I had Tyreek Hill, and I felt that. What do you guys think about Tyreek Hill?
I don't have him in my top 10. And we all know how big of a top.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, it's disrespectful for sure.
Wait. I am a huge Tyreek Hill fan.
Well, not right now.
No, I still am. But I'm going off of, in my top 10, I'm going off of the guys that I think that are going to consistently give me double digits each week. And the Tyreek Hill of last year scares the shit out of me to think that he's going to be a lock to give me double digits each week. I think that he is the guy that has the talent and the ability to be the top 3, top 4 conversation in fantasy wide receivers. And if this was 2 years ago, he absolutely would be. But with how poor the production was last year, the fact that there were reports coming out from camp saying that Jalen Waddle looked like potentially the number 1 over Tyreek based off of production, that's horrifying. Now, am I going to say take Jalen Waddle over Tyreek Hill in fantasy? Absolutely not. But I don't know if I'm going to feel comfortable saying, hey, I'm going to take him, at 7. You do?
I mean,
do you? I mean, I guess so because you have him as your number 7. But
yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. I think they had a fall off year. There was some drama towards the end of the year. Again, Tua being healthy is the key to Tyreek Hill's fantasy success, in my opinion. So that's where the risk. Really, that is the risk.
Yeah.
And then, just jumping around here. So I have Terry McLaurin at 12. I'm very hesitant with Terry McLaurin simply because he doesn't have a deal with the Washington right now. I would say he might even slip further down in my list if they don't get a deal before you're drafting. I would be very weary on that. But
I have a question, Chris.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm surprised with. I know I'm not a huge fan of this guy, but Mike Evans. I mean,
I was waiting for you to say something.
But like PPR leagues, Mike Evans he doesn't put up tons of points in my opinion. I mean, he gets 1,000 yards every year, but
I think he does. I mean, Baker Mayfield is always throwing up fantasy points. Who's he throwing the ball to? I mean, he's his number 1 target.
But he's never I don't know. I mean, I guess we can look at the numbers. I just don't remember him having tons of receptions. He's gonna for sure get his yards, but
There's 2 guys
in terms of
that
top
I think
10, I just didn't see it. But
I think Mike Evans is a lock.
I like Mike Evans as well.
Oh my gosh. I gotta make this up.
I'm doing it. I don't trust your numbers.
CJ, the sports enthusiast, is on it. It's like that's my job. All right. So I mean, listen.
Hold on. No. I'm already at it. Hold on. Let's slow down.
Okay.
Pardon
Pardon me.
Mike Evans had one breakout game last year. When I say one breakout game, I'm talking about 37 fantasy points in one game.
Okay.
He's consistently thrown up. You want to talk about what? Receptions for
His career. I mean, the last
career? Oh, well, I mean, I don't have that
the
much.
last 7 years,
career. What do you have?
the last 7 years, I mean, he's one time over 80 receptions. Like all these other guys that we're mentioning.
Yeah, but he's a
have
touchdown
100
machine.
Touchdowns.
I wouldn't say
But he's-
machine because in the last 7 years, he's only.
But
put
you
up
can't
double
go off the
digits
last 7
touchdowns.
years. He didn't have Baker, the gunslinger, throwing him the last 7 years.
Okay, so even if you go off last
You got a
year,
gunslinger over there now.
yeah, but even if you go off last year, 74 receptions, barely had 1,000 yards and 11 TDs. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not like, I don't know. I just compared to what I expect from some of these other guys.
I'm curious to know who you have in front of him on your list when we get
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll show you guys.
Wait, hold on. I'm not done with this.
He's not giving up on the Mike Evans argument. I mean, listen, I think that there's
Okay,
maybe
so
a few.
hold on. CeeDee Lamb last year, he has recorded 9 receiving touchdowns. Now you're saying that you don't trust Mike Evans touchdowns. He has 11. CeeDee Lamb, I bet you he's in your top 3, if not top 5.
CeeDee Lamb's only played 8 games with Dak Prescott. That has a huge impact on why his numbers were lower.
Okay,
I know you
Jamar
don't
Chase
think
is
Mike
at
Evans-
17. Jamar Chase has 17 touchdowns last year, which he's in a whole nother tier.
Okay.
So like 11 is not that far for you to throw a bunch of other receivers in front of Mike Evans, in my opinion, for fantasy. Like he consistently shows up.
No, I'm not saying where you having him on fantasy. I don't know. I just feel like I have other guys like, and you'll see my list later. I just feel like I have other guys who are trending upward. Mike Evans is getting older. I don't know. I'm looking at some of the younger guys.
Yeah,
that
I agree with that. I just think that
potentially
he's still. No, he's. I mean, yeah, of course he's getting older. I just think that with him having Baker Mayfield, I think that's why his production continues, at least in the red zone, at the very least.
That's fair. I'm just not Mike Evans guy.
Listen, I'm very curious to
Spoken
know.
like a true Panthers fan.
Yeah, 100%. Remember, this guy's supposed to be representing the people, right? The people's champ. Okay, but he's keeping all you
Absolutely
people
insane.
away from a touchdown machine. Let's proceed here, CJ, the sports enthusiast.
Yeah, no, I mean, is there anyone else specifically you guys want to go over? Because I kind of want to see what you guys have. But going through the list, one person that worries me on this list is Garrett Wilson. I will throw that out there. And it's not just because of Garrett Wilson. It's because of who's throwing him the ball, Justin Fields. From a fantasy perspective, that worries me. So I'm definitely worried with him in terms of production. So I'm a little weary at him at 16. I wouldn't be surprised if he slipped a little bit further, but he's definitely someone on my list that I'm a little, second guessing on. Okay, do we really want to trust Justin Fields with production in him? I don't know.
I agree with you. I think the rest of your list, I actually love. Garrett Wilson's one that, I would have an asterisk next to. I think he has the talent, but
100%.
question marks at QB can make that a risk versus reward kind of deal. So, but the rest of your list, I really, really like.
So I do
go
too. I do too. I just.
You didn't like the Tariq Hill. Who else?
No. I didn't dislike the Tariq Hill. I just thought it was a little rich for me, just based off of the fact that when I'm picking my top 10, I want guys that I think that are going to consistently give me double-digit points. Tariq Hill is going to give you 30, and then he's going to give you 7. And you just don't know because of how that offense has been operating. We don't know what he's going to get. It's just I don't think he's going to give you the same fantasy production that he gave you 2-3 years ago. Okay. I hope I'm wrong because I'm a huge Tariq Hill fan. So when I'm picking my top 10, top 10 wide receiver, we're picking these guys in the top 2 rounds. So I want to make sure that I'm getting double-digit points every week from this person consistently, where I don't have to worry about, as long as they're in the lineup. All right, they're keeping me in games, and then I have my flyers elsewhere. Whereas
that's fair. I mean, again, though, him putting up those 30+ points in one game could win you when the rest of your team doesn't do well that week. But I
No,
understand
no,
what you're saying.
I agree. I agree. Listen, I don't. It's not like I have him at 20. You know, it's just
Yeah.
you know. The other one, I'm just curious. I want your opinion. I have DK falling out of my top 20.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I think out of top 20 is a little crazy to me.
I just don't know what to expect from the quarterback play over there, man.
I mean, he's gonna have Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. I mean,
Devontae Adams had Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball.
He did well though.
Right.
what do you mean,
He
Devontae
did.
Adams
He
when he?
did
Yeah, he
okay
had a good
in fantasy.
season.
Okay. Listen.
I mean,
he was okay.
No, so you have to remember.
they also
let me
had
pull up
Garrett
the
Wilson on the Jets splitting. Who's taking more reps with DK? To me, he's the clear target.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I don't know. He didn't have a great fantasy year last year. It was mediocre at best. He was projected to do so well for fantasy owners, and he just didn't produce what he was expected to. And listen, it was not good for those fantasy owners that drafted him because he was drafted high. My whole thing is DK Metcalf is a guy that I'm personally going to sit on, and if a lot of other people are like, I don't know, because he got Rodgers throwing the ball, I'm going to let it sit and marinate. And then if he's, for me, that's a value pick in a little bit of a later round. I'm not going to go and snag him right off of the availability list when
I think that he's a high risk, high reward, personally, because I'm trying to compare him with Garrett Wilson.
I just can't put it like you have him above Cortland Sutton, bro. I just, to me,
I think it's a high risk, high reward thing for me.
Okay, that's fair.
But to your point,
even
Mike,
Garrett Wilson was productive in fantasy last year, and who was throwing him the ball? Aaron Rodgers, right? And he also had Devontae Adams on the team.
And even Devontae Adams was productive. He played 11 games with the Jets.
I think
67 receptions, 854 yards, and 7 touchdowns. That's productive. Like 11 games, 854 yards. That's super productive.
I'm not saying don't draft him. I'm just saying, like, look at the people that you have sitting behind him, and are you comfortable taking him over? Like, you'll see when you see my list, but you'll see.
Yeah,
he's someone that
let's get to one of your lists. I really want to see MJB's list because I really want to see how disrespectful he is to Mike Evans.
Well, let's see it. Let's bring it on up. There it is.
Oh my god, that is so foul.
Is it
18?
Yeah, that's correct.
Wow.
Listen,
you have Marvin Harrison Jr. over Mike Evans.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we know he is losing this year.
You have Drake London in front of Mike Evans.
Yeah, that is disrespectful.
Yep. Let's see.
You wanted to talk about DK
Actually,
Metcalf?
I'm loving this because this is going to help me out wonderfully.
Mike, you wanted to talk about DK Metcalf? He's got DK Metcalf.
I saw at 11, bro.
So
what is going on?
Drake London had a better fantasy year than Mike Evans did last year. You guys do realize that, right? And go ahead. No, go ahead. I want to hear.
You think Michael Penix is going to have a better year than Baker Mayfield?
He doesn't have to have a better year than Baker Mayfield.
But I think those two are going to have to lean on their number one receiver in the type of offenses that they play, and I don't see Drake London having a better year than Mike Evans. Maybe I'm wrong. You watch them more than everybody because they're in your division.
Yeah. So to that point, I think Chris Godwin, believe it or not, when he's healthy, he pulls a lot from Mike Evans. That's right.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. If he's healthy, we're assuming he's going to be healthy.
Right. So I just feel like he pulls a lot of weight away from Mike Evans, and that's why Mike Evans is never going to have like crazy numbers. But even when Chris Godwin went down and Mike Evans was the primary guy for the season, Drake London still had a better productive season. And so, is Michael Penix better than Baker? Absolutely not. But in terms of the targets, Drake London was third targeted in the league. So, they're going to force feed him the ball. If, from a fantasy perspective, I just think that it's just going to make sense. I don't. Would I pick Drake London over Mike Evans? I'm doing fantasy. I mean, if I'm doing like Madden or something, probably not. But if someone's being force fed and they're the third highest targeted receiver in the league, I gotta lean with that.
All right. Okay.
I like the point. I get
I
it.
came prepared.
Listen,
I
you
like-
point. I'll tell you
I
what,
like
I'm not drafting Drake London over Mike Evans. Not happening.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I'll quickly run through some of them. Obviously, Jamar and Justin.
I want to hear your take on. We both have Jamar and Justin at 1 and 2, but let's dive a little bit with Tariq Hill because Mike doesn't even have him in his top 10. So
Yeah, and
You have him at 3, Mike?
Mike's not wrong for his rationale. No, because dude, the 1 year he didn't play with Tua, he had a terrible season. 81 receptions, 959 yards, 6 touchdowns. In 2022 and 2023, when Tua was healthy, he averaged, 119 receptions and 1,700 yards. If Tua's healthy, I don't see any reason why to think that those numbers won't get back to where that was.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I will say this, and part of the
The
show,
big if.
right, as the Doc's huddle. Do you feel confident that Tua is going to stay healthy this year for the whole year, enough to give Tyreek Hill the production that he needs to be valuable at the fantasy position?
Let me find some wood to knock on, but I know I.
I think that's why us Dolphins fans who also root for Miami are looking heavily at the backup quarterback position, right? Like, Quinn Ewers, valuable rookie, 7th round pick out of Texas. Like, now that he's supposedly healthy, like, is he going to be someone that they can lean on? I don't have any faith in Zach Wilson, so we'll move on from him. And do I think that like one of these guys coming in to take his place, God forbid he gets hurt again, is that going to create enough production for Tyreek Hill to be worth me chancing my number 3 pick on? Like, if you're saying that this wide receiver is the number 3 overall, that means he's going first round, period.
You don't think Tariq Hill will go first round?
I think he's going to go first round. I'm telling everyone, depending on who's on the board, don't be surprised if I pass on him in the first round. I think I'm more comfortable taking him as my number as my second option. But like, if I have a good running back, or if I have a couple of other receivers on there, I'm going to pick one of those other receivers over Tyreek, just because I can't trust the scenario he's in. And listen, from the Dolphins being my second favorite team, I want nothing more than for him to boom and them to be that exciting offense that we've gotten to see in the past. But
yeah, and you're right, Mike. Like, he's high risk, high reward. Like, it could either go the way that we think, right? And he has an amazing season with Tua and works out, and this looks great, and I look like a genius. Or Tua gets hurt, Tyreek has another bad year, and I look like the idiot that chose to pick Tyreek Hill at 3. I totally get it, and that's why that was a tough one for me. Tyreek Hill was a tough one for me. The top 5 that I have, I just feel like when they're at their peak and at their best, like, they have a lot of value to their team, and a lot of the top 5, they get targeted a ton, man. So I guess
what about Malik Neighbors being at 6?
So Malik Neighbors, believe it or not, you could put him 5A, 5B. I had a tough time not putting him over Amon-Ra St. Brown, because I think Malik Neighbors, he potentially could be top 3 by the end of the season. I
think why Malik Neighbors belongs before Amon-Ra St. Brown is because of the production that Jameson Williams gets from Jared Goff. Like, versus who's the number 2 wide receiver on the New York Giants that gets production. Exactly.
Oh, and I agree. And he will be fed. It's all about, for me, Russell Wilson. What am I getting from him? Is it, you know what I mean? I just don't know. And I know Russell Wilson hasn't been bad the last couple of seasons, but from a fantasy standpoint, I don't remember too many receivers having amazing seasons with him, right? So, like, I just don't know from that standpoint. Malik's talent alone doesn't scare me. I don't know what I'm getting from Russell. So that's why I put him at 6. Brian Thomas had a phenomenal rookie season, so I put him at 7. I expect that to keep going up.
Love that. Love that.
Thank you. Nico Collins, I feel like Houston are still trying to recover from a decimated wide receiver room. They did well by taking some rookies, but this is the veteran in the house, and I think they're going to continue to feed him as they should.
I have a question real quick, but
Yep.
while on the topic, because I was a big fan of Brian Thomas coming out. Do you think his production is going to take a hit with Travis Hunter?
No,
No, I don't think
not
so.
at all.
I
Not
don't
at
think
all.
so.
From a fantasy
Nope.
perspective, I mean, not
No.
Mm-mm.
okay.
Nope. Nope.
Mm-mm.
If anything, it's going to get better. Because all that
Yeah.
means is that now there's going to be a new gadget on the field that they're going to be worried about having to cover, and they're going to focus on him. I don't think that he's going to have enough targets. He's going to probably be in specialty packages. I mean, maybe not. Maybe he is going to play the whole game on both sides of the ball. I find it hard to believe. There have been reports out there that saying that Jacksonville is going to make that happen. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think that Brian Thomas is the guy there in Jacksonville. He is a stud wide receiver.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
it's
I think he's
such
amazing.
a steep learning curve that Travis is going through with offense and defense. I just feel like
Yeah.
he's going to still be learning halfway through the season. So
Yeah.
I don't think he pulls too much from Brian Thomas because of that
Mm-mm.
reason.
Mm-mm.
I already mentioned Nico, and then I think Puka's is ascending. He had, I know he didn't have the best season, 79 receptions, 990 yards, 3 touchdowns, but that was only in 11 games, dude. So I don't think Devontae pulls too much from that. I think, in fact, Devontae helps him to get more one-on-one opportunities. I think A.J. Brown consistently will put up solid numbers. He's one that, honestly, if you told me you had him at 17, 18, I wouldn't be mad either, because
Yeah, I agree.
I just think there's so much on that offense that
they're
I'm
so
not sold with
high-powered.
him at 10. So if you didn't take him
His-
at 10, I totally understand.
His fantasy production took a major step back last year. I mean, right? I mean, who cares? They went to the Super Bowl and won from a non-fantasy perspective, but from a fantasy perspective, he took a major step back from years prior. So
Mhm.
I totally agree. I mean, why would they change something that's not broken, right? We know that we're probably expecting a similar type of offensive look this year, which means should we be expecting more fantasy production out of A.J. Brown from last year? I'm not going to bet on that.
Yeah. And then,
So,
so believe it or not, that wraps up my top 10. But in my top 10, Amon-Ra St. Brown and A.J. Brown are the two that scare me a bit. So, like,
Mhm.
if you had them lower, I totally would understand. Totally understand.
Why? What scares you about Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Like you mentioned, getting less targets because the other receivers are finally catching on, changing offensive coordinator, all the whole 9 yards. So it's just one of those that I think those two can have a huge impact on his numbers this season.
Like, would you expect him to slip out of the top 10, or like, what are you thinking?
Honestly, he could, because like those other guys I have in there, man, they're incredible, dude, and they're all number ones. So I have no reason not to think that. Like, again, these guys in the top 10 are high targeted guys, so it's like they could easily surpass Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, unless if you're a viewer watching our show and you're doing your homework and you're thinking, otherwise similar to us, like someone's going to take him very, very high.
I think he's
because
going to be very productive, personally.
But I'm saying, regardless, like whether we're saying that he could fall or not, I don't think in any league he's actually going to fall, because there's going to be someone that's going to be like, oh, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, I got to take him, and then they take him and he's going early. I don't see this guy falling out of the top the first round, but hey, that means that other talent might get pushed, and that's okay too, right? Like, based off of what we were talking about, at least how I'm viewing it, right? My top 10, I want guys, and yes, he's in my top 10, but we want guys that are going to be a little bit more, what's the word? Like, reliable on in their production. And I feel like he's more of a wild card, like you said, MJB. I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you there. So
Going to the back half of my list, I think for the reasons I mentioned earlier, I think DK Metcalf will have a decent season. Man, I couldn't name you 3 receivers on the Steelers, dude. So you're gonna have to force me.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
whether he is successful or not, he's gonna have a ton of targets. And
I know that
that's Aaron
Terry-
Rodgers' MO.
I don't think Washington, personally, I don't think Washington's going to trade Terry McLaurin, but I do know that the second Terry McLaurin wanted out, the Steelers were the first team knocking on that door. So that's interesting. Just throwing it
Yeah.
out.
Nope, you're not wrong. I mean, dude, I hope I hope that Terry McLaurin lands on a team that's not the Commanders, because I always have the Giants division. That's my bias. But I want him to land with a team that is going to have a good quarterback, because
I think they're
if
going to
not-
sign him.
I mean, they have to, right? Like how are they not going to sign Terry McLaurin? I mean,
Yeah,
you
1000%.
know, you have your franchise quarterback coming into his second season. We always talk about not wanting to subject these guys to the sophomore slump. So I think that it's very simple. Like, they got to resign him. That's it.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
been super
100%.
consistent every year. I don't understand whether he's had a terrible quarterback or a good quarterback. Same guy every year, 1,000 yards. I don't care who you put out there. Like, how
I
do you
think
not
that
resign
the
a guy
issue
like
is that he wants in the 30 million range, and their issue is that he's getting older. But whatever, moving on.
That's crazy because, like I said, it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. I'm getting you 1,000. Like that. If I was at the negotiating table, that's what I'm saying. Do you understand? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who you put there. I'm a 1,000-yard receiver. Okay.
That's true.
So, all right.
It is the truth. And to be
Um,
honest, you have him at 15. That's where I have him. I have him at 15 on my list. Dude, he's top 12. Maybe even you can argue
Mhm,
somewhere sneaking into the top 10 if he's on a roster. I mean, he's technically on a roster,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Like, if he's playing, and we know for sure. So, like, anyone who's listening and watching the show, the replay of the show, if Terry McLaurin gets signed before you have your fantasy draft, you need to consider bumping him up and taking him earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
It's my
for sure.
opinion.
For sure. I want to dive into Marvin Harrison. Do you think that Marvin Harrison is going to have a breakout year?
I mean, I think that I think Kyler has a good year this season. Remember on a few shows back, we were talking about how the Cardinals just totally revamped their O-line. So, like, if that's true, I can't imagine Marvin Harrison being Kyler Murray's number one target and him not having a good season. Like, I don't get what would be holding him back. Like, especially we all think Marvin Harrison's a stud. I don't know. I can't see.
I agree. I think
this
it's
year.
another high risk, high reward, depending on how early you take him. I think he's going to have a decent year. Well,
So,
very
would you
good year.
guys? Are you guys comfortable having him as your wide receiver too?
Wide receiver 2?
In
I mean, it
a
depends on
10-man
who else
league?
is on the board, but I don't hate it with the risk reward factor in it involved.
I think
In
that
a
if he's
12-man league,
in
absolutely
a 12-man league, that's great. Yes. All right. In a 10-man, I agree. In a 12-man league, him being a wide receiver too, I think is actually pretty good. But I think in a 10-man league, I'm saying, okay, I have him as my number 2. I don't feel great about it, but I can make it work.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I mean, he's gonna be someone's number 2 at that point, unless you're taking him out of your top 10, 20, basically, right?
But that's what Mike's alluding to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just depends if
So
you have him in there or not.
Right. I'm just curious because, like, I mean, yeah, if you go two running backs and a receiver, or running back, receiver, running back, and now it's the 4th round, and he's there in the 4th, and you can take him, yeah, like that, I think it is a good spot for him. But if you're telling me that he's going to be your wide receiver 1, or you have another productive running back on the table that you could take him to be your RB2, or your wide receiver 2, I just don't know if I'm going to make that commitment. It's obviously, it depends on the scenario, but
okay.
So with, just real quick before we pivot and show Mike's list, with my back 10, I feel like there's risk reward across each individual, right? Like, I feel like, are we going to see Michael Penix take a step forward for Drake London? Is Aaron Rodgers for DK?
And the Zay Flowers one, like I'm very curious about it, because I've historically, like, when I take the Ravens receivers, I never have luck with fantasy production personally.
he was terrible in fantasy. I had him.
Terrible.
He was terrible.
Yeah.
He's
Terrible.
not on my bench. And he's a number 1 receiver.
Right.
So that's
what I'm
another.
saying.
But that's
Like for me, I can't.
yeah.
I wouldn't put him in my top 20 for that reason. That's
Mm-hmm.
way too
Right.
risky for me.
Right.
Mhm.
And like I think Cortland Sutton's high potential, but I just don't know yet. Like there's games that I'm like, man, he put up 30 points, and the next game it's like, okay, like I was expecting more. So like sometimes I just don't know with him. Devontae Adams, he'll be sharing, receptions with Puka. People question, does he still have it? Terry with the whole contract situation, Mike Evans splitting targets with other receivers, like T. Higgins not being a number one, like all these things, it just kind of gives me pause. But yeah, so
Makes
that's why
sense.
that's why my list is that way. Some guys I just feel better than others, so I just ranked it that way.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that makes a lot
fair.
of sense.
Yeah, Mike, what do you got?
All right, so I got a lot on here, and I'm gonna actually bring down our ticker for a moment so you can see everything. So I was gonna go top 25, and I'm like,
24
It's not
names
just-
plus more. You got like 30.
yeah. We got a lot. We got a lot
What
of
the
guys here.
hell's going on?
I put a lot of hard work into this. A lot of thought. I don't have to go through everybody. I just want to say I had Malik Neighbors in the number 3 spot. I think that it's
I don't
not
think it's
even
crazy.
no because
No,
I
I
had
don't
him
either.
I had him last year, and this is with Daniel Jones and Tommy DeVito and a broken, terrible offense with no offensive line, and he still put up insane numbers. We have a
Yep.
better offensive line this year, and I say we because everyone knows I'm a Giants fan. The Giants have a better offensive line this year, and is it going to be great? No, but it's going to be middle of the pack, and I truly believe that if they stay healthy, as well as the fact that you have a better quarterback. I'm not saying that Russ is going to be amazing, but he's just better than what has been there. And take all of that information and know that Brian Dable is literally going to just design plays to feed Malik the ball. Okay, Leak is gonna get fed. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
So he's to me number 3. I would have put him at number 2.
I was just going to
couldn't get
ask you that. For how much you like him, would you consider putting him at number 2?
over only because of the quarterback play.
That's what I was going to
I don't know what to expect from JJ McCarthy, but Justin Jefferson is so good. And last year, okay, I stood correct. I was corrected by the fact that I said that I thought that Justin Jefferson's production was going to go down because of the
Correct.
quarterback play, and I was wrong. That was one of the areas that I was incorrect about, and I'm not letting it happen. I'm not letting it happen again, right? So I put him at number 2. You can take Malik at number 2, and I'm fine with it. Just because of the yeah. CeeDee Lamb, 4. Okay, I feel great about my top 4. I think that's tier 1. Tier 2 starts at number 5. I have Nico Collins just because I don't think we're gonna have another slumped year by CJ Stroud. I really do believe that they're gonna. I mean, they have so many weapons. They're an exciting team, and I think Nico is gonna have a great year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, everything you said, I'm not going to repeat it. I agree. I think that the 6th spot is a really good spot for him. However, if he drops, I wouldn't be surprised because we don't know what to expect with the new offensive coordinator over there. And it just, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells with him. So if I'm stuck there in those top 5 and now I'm sitting there and I know I need to take a receiver, I'm a little uneasy because I know that I'm probably going to take him, but I don't know. I'm not as confident in knowing that he's going to do well. Brian Thomas Jr., I would put him at 6, but I just feel like if Amon-Ra St. Brown does meet the potential, it's going to surpass Brian Thomas Jr., so that's why he is at 6 above Brian Thomas Jr. Everything we said, I think he's going to have a great year. Kid's a stud. I put T. Higgins at 8, guys. Okay.
I thought it was crazy, and I was looking up numbers. It's actually not crazy.
It's not fucking excuse my language. It's not crazy.
I thought it was crazy.
It's absolutely not crazy. It's absolutely not
But I
crazy.
will tell you what is crazy. I can't wait for you to get to 21. So keep going.
Yeah. So listen, T. Higgins there. Listen, okay, he could be the number 1 receiver on a team and provide a lot of production. So
Yeah.
and knowing what Joe Burrow, we talked about this with the quarterbacks last week. Joe Burrow has no defense again. Okay, they didn't allocate much of anything this offseason to their defense. So, and their number one player is holding out still on that defense. So they're going to be airing the ball out every week. Jamar Chase is going to be, he's like in his own tier, in my opinion, on fantasy production. Then, T. Higgins, guys, he's going to be right there with him. So definitely a top 10 receiver. After my top 8, things get a little interesting. I think that's now we move into tier 3. Puka, I think, is going to be great. Injuries are a bit of a concern. Okay. Every year he's missing time due to knees, hamstrings. There's a little concern there, but I think that when he's healthy, he's going to produce for you. That's my only concern with making him your wide receiver 1, because if you are relying on him to be your wide receiver 1, make sure you get a good wide receiver 2, because there's going to be some games he does not play. Mike Evans, complete opposite. I think that this is someone who's going to be on the field and be reliable. He may not give you as big of the numbers as, say, Puka might when he's healthy, but he's going to give you double-digit numbers, and I think that he's going to give you a steady-state income of points each week. So I think that's something that, is valuable.
What about Ladd McConkey?
Okay.
So Ladd around a little bit because we're going over some of the same stuff here.
Yeah. So Ladd McConkey, he's a guy that I think if they continue to throw the ball, he was very productive in his rookie year. If they continue to throw the ball, he is their number 1 receiver. It's not going to be Keenan Allen, even though they re-signed him in free agency. I don't care what anyone says. Ladd is the number 1 receiver there. Okay. So I think that he's just going to progress and do better this year. So I like Ladd a lot. I do. And the only reason why I have Tyreek Hill at 13 is for everything I said. Tyreek Hill, if he does produce, he is in the top 5. He jumps above Nico Collins. I just am too scared to tell people, hey, go take Tyreek Hill in the first round and make him your wide receiver 1. It's scary, okay? Because you just don't know what you're gonna get. Courtland Sutton, guys, this is the guy I want to talk about.
Okay.
Anyone else I want to talk about? This is the guy. Okay, we have Bo Nix. I think I had him rated as my 6th best quarterback. He had a great fantasy year in the sense of he was projecting forward and he was doing better as the year went on. I had him chilling on my bench for a while. And then all of a sudden, this guy might have to become a starter. And sure enough, for many people, he was, especially in 12-man leagues. I think that this guy is going to be a stud. If you get him as a wide receiver 2, you are balling. Because I think that he's going to be fed the ball quite a bit from Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And listen, if you're in a 12-man league and you got to take him as your number 1 receiver, but you went running back first, don't be upset. Okay, this guy I think is going to give you numbers. So I feel very good about Courtland Sutton. I think that 14 is the floor for him. Okay.
Mike, to your point, he went from 90 targets in 2023 to 135 targets in 2024, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this guy is ascending.
He finally has someone to throw him the ball consistently.
Yes. And I really do believe that the 14 is the floor. All right. So one of my sleeper picks that could jump the top 10 this year is Courtland Sutton.
Walk me through. We talked about Terry McLaurin. We talked about Drake London contract and Michael Penix Jr. Walk me through your spot at 17 with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Perfect. That was next where I was going to go. Depending on certain feeds, stats, right? They have him ranked even higher than what we have him. He didn't even make either of your top 20. Listen, production's there. He's now the number 1 receiver. Okay. He is like the other 2 productive receivers in DK Metcalf.
But is he? You think he's such a clear number 1? What about Cooper Kupp? Like, sure, on a depth chart, but really, what about a healthy Cooper Kupp? That's my problem with having him so high. Because if Cooper Kupp's on the field, he's going to eat production in fantasy.
Maybe, but Cooper Kupp didn't eat Puka's production. If anything, Cooper Kupp helped spread the field, allowing Puka to succeed.
That's because they both went off when they were both on the field.
Right. I think that Jackson Smith and Jig was going into his 3rd year. I think he's going to be an even better receiver than he was in the previous 2 years. And to be honest, we're not saying here, right, that they're going to have a great quarterback play, right,
that's
to win
my
games.
issue.
That's my issue too. Sam
to
Darnold.
win games. to
in a
win
new
games.
system.
But Sam Darnold can still sling the ball and feed his receivers. And if he couldn't do that, the receivers, like TJ Hawkinson, tight end, had a great fantasy year. Justin Jefferson, I know he's Justin Jefferson, but he had a great year. Like, if Jackson Smith and Najigba can continue to play how he's played, I don't think that you're going to see a large drop-off in fantasy production, because I still think that he's going to get fed the ball and he's going to have a decent amount of targets from Sam Darnold. I'm not saying they're going to win a lot of football games over there, but I think that he still warrants a top 20 pick. Am I saying
So-
make him your number one receiver?
So it's
No.
hard
but
for me to
number two, I
it's
feel
hard
good.
for me to have him above where DK Metcalf is when they have Cooper Kupp opposite side of him, and just knowing that Sam Darnold's throwing him the ball. I just
Yeah, so Sam Darnold's only had one decent season his entire career, and that, I don't know, I feel like that was more of a Viking system. Even like he was with the 49ers, the Panthers, the Jets. I don't remember any receiver on any of those teams having decent fantasy seasons.
and which is why we're
So
all
that- so
comfortable
that-
with
that's
JJ
what scares-
McCarthy
That's
slinging
what
the
scares
ball
me
to
with
Justin
Seahawks.
Jefferson.
It's like Vikings, where anyone could kind of walk into that situation and succeed. I don't know that he has remotely the same kind of success in Seattle with all that stuff going on. Like, I just don't see it. So to your point, that's the only reason I that was the one pick I was waiting to get to, because I disagree on that, because I'm like, he's done it once in his 8 years in the league. I just don't.
It's
or 7
definitely
years
the
in the league.
highest worry for me as well.
I listen, all valid points. I also know that Smith and Najigba and DK Metcalf were on the same team last year.
Yeah.
And Smith and Najigba's production was much, much better than DK Metcalf, both
Yeah.
in fantasy and not. Right? In normal football numbers and in fantasy, his production was better than DK. So now they're both going, because you just asked Christopher about the DK Metcalf versus Jackson Smith and Najigba. If I'm telling you that I think Jackson Smith Najigba is ascending, and I think he's going to be the number one receiver there, right? I think that Cooper Kupp there is not going to take targets away and ruin his fantasy production. I think that's going to help spread the field, where, if DK had the ability to be the number one receiver last year and have 3 solid receivers on that wide receiving core, and we didn't see the best production out of him, I don't see why now he's going to go and be the number one somewhere else without the other players to help spread the field, and now all of a sudden he's going to have a great year. I just don't see it. Whereas Jackson Smith and Jigba is more of a quarterback thing, whereas the Steelers, it's a quarterback thing. And what about DK Metcalf? Did he just have a down year himself, or is he going to play better? Because he had a lot of drop passes. Okay, there was there's a lot of things that were him, not Geno Smith, that caused the lack of his production, and it was very evident. So that's why I don't have him in my. That is the reason why he dropped out of my top 20.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
And what's your take on, I guess, DJ Moore and Xavier Worthy?
Right. So Xavier Worthy, this is going to be his second year in the league. Second year with Pat Mahomes. I think that Pat Mahomes had a down year. A lot of what we have been reading is that he's having a better. He's going to have statistically, he's going to have a better year this year. That's what they're saying. All the
So do
beat
you
writers.
think that Rashi Rice got hurt
She writes,
with a knee injury, so he really didn't have any fantasy? He wasn't taking production away from Xavier Worthy. Coming back, he's supposed to be healthy going into the 2025 year. He is listed number 1 on their depth chart. So it's just interesting to have Xavier Worthy. I don't disagree with it. I'm just curious to see what you think.
Well, we don't know what Rashee Rice is going to look like at all. Xavier Worthy, he's a home run hitter, right? My whole thing is like, I don't see the difference between a Xavier Worthy or a Jameson Williams. They're both there neck to neck, because to me, you're getting a very similar player. Home run hitter, fast as can be. They're going to throw the ball up and see what it comes down to. You're going to have a 30-point week, and then you're going to have a 4-point week, right? Like, that's what you're going to get with either of those players. So just, I don't want either of them as my wide receiver 2 in a 10 or an 8-man league. Obviously, if we're looking at 12, then that's fine. But, and then the one I want to bring up is George Pickens. This is going to be the last one I want to talk about on my list. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. I mean, I don't like the Cowboys, but I think that he's going to play a big role on that offense. And I think they need him to play a big role on that offense for that offense to succeed, because I don't think that it can be just CD and Dak doing it all. And obviously they have Jake Ferguson, who we'll discuss when we get to our tight ends show. But I think that this is a guy that, if I'm not picking him early on, but if I'm looking at a value pick and people are scared to take him, I might snag him and just let him sit on that bench and chill and marinate, and we'll see if it turns into anything. That's my thoughts on him. If he's there, I'm not willing to take him early on though.
Yeah, no, I'm not a huge George Pickens fan. I want to see it to believe it.
Right. So he's a guy that I'd let sit on the bench.
But I thought we were capping it at 20 wideouts. We got about 30 here. But I will say my sleeper, who I think is going to have a good bust out year, is Calvin Ridley. I think he's my sleeper later on.
Why?
Because the Tennessee Titans, I'm drawing a blank here. What's his name? Cam Ward?
Cam Ward?
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank there. Cam Ward, I think he's going to be a gunslinger. And
there's no doubt about that.
And I think that who's he throwing the ball to? Their number one guy in Calvin Ridley. I think that he's just going to have a bounce back year. Calvin Ridley was out 1 year for a suspension and came back. So he was, just getting back to the league, game speed, whatever. I think that he's going to have a bounce back.
Year 3 though. Right? Like how many years does it take for him to get back to game speed, right? Like he was on the Jaguars for now 2 years after he came back from suspension. Calvin Ridley's the guy, he's the guy. Guess what? I drafted him. He sat on he was one of my receivers, did not produce. Oh, he produced. Oh, great. Let's start Calvin Ridley again. And he goes back to not producing. I don't see any change in that production whatsoever.
New system, rookie quarterback looking for a big target.
And I wish him the best of luck on this upcoming play.
What do you think, MJB?
I mean, to Chris's point, he's had 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, he very well could be productive. I just
productive from a fantasy standpoint?
I'm not telling you he's going to be your number one wide receiver, but high risk, high reward. Imagine he goes off as your number 2 or, whatever in your slot, like deep league.
But no, that's fine. That's fine. In a 12-man league, I would take him as my wide receiver too. Other than that, like honestly, man, I've demoted him to my flex.
So
go ahead, MJB.
He has very similar numbers to your boy Mike Evans. Aside from so I don't understand.
Aside from what, the touchdowns?
Yeah. So in 2023,
yeah, but the touchdowns are points, bro.
But
that's 6 points.
In 2022, they had very close numbers. 2024, they have it. But I'm saying PPR helps too. Like a lot of the guys, pull up Mike's list again.
Yeah.
Pull up Mike's list again.
Pull it up.
Please. So, like, if you look at Drake London stats, if you look at Cortland Sutton stats, if you look at Ladd McConkey stats, like these guys statistically had better seasons than Mike. I respect Mike, and I love what he's doing. We're essentially saying if we're in 10-man league, Mike should be a number 1 receiver. I don't think that's true.
So you're more Tyreek Hill, right? If you want to take the chance on Tyreek, you want to take the chance on Cortland Sutton, you want to take the chance on Terry McLaurin. Those 3 guys are back there because of their the current scenarios or based off of sheer projection. So I put Mike above those for that reason. I think that those are the guys that have the ability to jump Mike maybe in the top 10. But nobody else I think is worth me taking above Mike because I know what I'm going to get with Mike. I feel comfortable knowing like, all right, I can roll with Mike and know that I'm going to get double-digit numbers each week. Am I going to be dropping 30? No, but I know that I can work around that with how I draft because I know I have a staple.
I guess for me, I'm looking at it differently. Like I'm looking at, and maybe that's why I don't win as much, but I'm looking at it from a reward standpoint. Like,
listen,
if
the champ is just giving his advice.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean?
Wrap it up.
All right, we can end it.
I'm just saying. I'm giving you guys a little bit about my philosophy on what earns me.
Don't be surprised if Calvin Ridley goes off. That's all I'm saying.
I
That's
agree with
fine.
that, Chris.
That's fine. I will say that I have, took a chance on him more than once, and he does. There's some weeks where like, oh, dude, great, he gave me 18 points. This is awesome. But then if you're relying on him to give you production every week, it's not going to happen. I'm telling you, there's going to be games where he has like 2 targets because he can't get open,
That's fine.
and
But
one
I
catch
will
will
agree
give
with
you like
MJB's
a
standpoint
point.
in that because I will agree with MJB in that standpoint because I had Mike Evans. That happens to me too. So,
So Mike Evans is giving you on a bad week. He's giving you less than 10 points.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I'll show you right now.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Fine.
On a bad day, Mike Evans is giving me 5.4, as low as 9.5, 3.7, and 7.2, all 4 different games.
So there's
It's
4
just
games.
Yeah, and he also didn't play 3 games last year.
Also, his stats could have been off.
What do you mean? We were just talking about consistency.
The legend-
Every single game.
But the legend,
That's 6 games. That's 6
Pause.
games where he basically
Pause.
didn't show
But
up.
the legend over there was
Just stop,
explaining.
just stop, just
The
stop.
legend over there was simply explaining that he had 11 touchdowns and didn't have the 1,000 yards. Well, if he played those extra 3 games, he could have. He could have.
I see what you're saying. All I'm saying is it doesn't matter who you draft.
Right.
You're gonna have down
could've.
weeks. You're gonna have
Yes,
guys
I get
give
that.
you
I'm
under
just saying
10.
that Calvin Ridley gave me more down weeks than not. How's that sound? Trust me.
Hold on. Hold on.
I mean, listen, I drafted him high and he wound up riding the bench and I still won the championship. He rode the bench for a reason because the production wasn't there. I'm just giving everyone my insight. Listen, everyone who's listening, these 2, I hope they draft them high because it helps me out. All right, right? Because I got to face these 2. I'm giving everyone my information, and then they're gonna know it and then go draft. So
I'm just saying, like everyone gives you off weeks. Like I
Of
looked at
course,
receivers,
I'm
he had
saying-
under 10, and he didn't play 2 games. Same thing with CD Lamb. Like all I'm saying is,
I'm saying who minimizes those down weeks. I feel like with Calvin Ridley, you're gonna have more down weeks than you'd expect from a number 1 receiver, and that's
well,
why
never
I
called
think when
him
you
the number
draft,
1 receiver.
no, he's a number 1 receiver on the Titans.
Okay,
So
but not
I'm
fantasy.
saying that draft him with caution. That's all I'm saying. That's why he's honorable mention. He didn't make anyone's top 20. There's a reason for that.
Correct.
Right? And I'm just saying that when you're drafting him, if other forums have him higher, I don't think he's going to be that breakout player that other people, like you may said, he might be that breakout guy. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're going to get the same guy that we got in fantasy the last 2 years. That's my opinion.
No, I agree. By the way,
Okay,
hi
so at
there,
least
bro.
we know that he's not going to be doing that. We'll be drafting CD or Calvin Ridley.
Well, on that note, I think that today was good. It was a productive show. I think that it's going to get real interesting when we get into our running back and our tight end shows. Those are going to be coming up soon. We want to thank everyone for tuning in for today's show on this year's fantasy football wide receiver rankings. Until next time, for CJ the sports enthusiast, MJB the legend, I'm Dr. Mikey B. This is the Doc's Huddle.